Hello, you're very welcome to Gerry's DIY. If this is your first time here and you want to learn how to make stoves, waste oil burners and a ton of other projects, start now by subscribing and click the bell notification so you don't miss anything. Okay, here we go. Hello, you're very welcome to Gerry's DIY. So I see in the news that New York is under I don't know how many feet of snow, so America is really, battling winter weather at the moment. Here in Ireland, it's quite cold, it's just hovering above freezing. 30-mile-an-hour winds outside and I need some fuel for the house. So I have some off-cut 4x2 and stuff like that, 2x4 you call it, from site work. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to chop it up into bite-sized lumps that fit in my stove inside. Now this particular saw, miter saw, is very cheap. I'm just using it as a chop saw. It's disposable. I don't only use my big DeWalt for this. And what we're going to do is just all the stuff that's on the floor, I'm going to chop it into bite-sized lumps, throw it in the wheelie bin, and then bring some of it into the house. And something special too with the sawdust. Here we go. So this is old site scrap, okay? It's got nails, it's got screws and bits and pieces in it. So what I do is I avoid the screws with the saw so I don't damage the blade. But I don't try and take them out. What I do is I burn them and then with a big magnet, put a magnet in a plastic bag, pull the bag over the magnet, put the magnet in the stove and go and collect all these nails and screws and bits and pieces. And then turn it upside down, all the stuff is in the bag, take the magnet away, then I've got a bag full of metal that I don't want in the stove. But anyway, that's what I do. So that's good. I'm not throwing it out. We're going to burn it. Now I fill this wheelie bin with offcuts, site offcuts, 2x4, stuff like that. Chop them all into lumps this big, 10 inches or so that they fit handy into my boiler stove. So I'm left with some sawdust. Now I don't throw the sawdust out. Sawdust is very useful, and you can actually add vegetable oil to sawdust. Now, I don't recommend you do this in your house, but be very careful if you do. So as a byproduct of chopping my 2x4 site offcuts, I've got some sawdust. So just as a little sample, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this. Okay, so there's my sawdust, and this is out-of-date vegetable oil. It's brand new oil, but it's out of date, so we're not using it. And I'm just going to pour that into the sawdust. And I'm literally going to use it as fuel. And what you're looking to do is to get it into the consistency of wet porridge. Not overly wet, so look, that's after absorbing in there, no problem. I'll just bring in a bit closer maybe and show you that. Right, so hopefully you can see this. Alright, so just pour in a bit more. Now if you put in too much vegetable oil, it's going to pour down through your grate, so you don't want that. You want it nice and dry, but more than damp. Now this is the consistency I wanted, When you pick it up and bunch it together, it kind of wants to stay together, hold its shape. A bit like sand, if you were making sand castles, like that. Too wet and it just slumps. So you just want it, when you squeeze it, it kind of holds together. And that's it. Nothing amazing with it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put it in this container. Now normally when I'm mixing this stuff, I don't do it like this, I get a battery drill or something like this. I put it in a bucket, a big bucket, and I mix it till I get a load of it that way. But at the moment, I don't have a lot of sawdust, and I just thought I'd show you how I do it. And you can see it on the small scale. So look. And you just stuff it in there. And all we're doing is we're making a log. Right, so this is free heat, this is free hot water, this is free anything you want, okay? So just going to put all of that in there. And this will burn for quite a while. You get in excess of half an hour out of it. And if you've got a load of sawdust and you've got some waste oil, as I say, it works with car oil as well, motor oil. But personally, I wouldn't use it in my house. So to recap, I mixed some ordinary sawdust with some vegetable oil, and then I pushed it into a carton. There's 1,000,001 ways you can kind of package this stuff. It does actually work if you put it straight in, but I find it easier to hold. If you've got a few of these kind of stacked, they're easier to contain. They don't go all over your floor. They're nice and tidy and neat, and you can do them in the shed. Okay, so some of the stuff in here is going to get burnt in my stove, my waste oil burning stove. I'll just take the middle piece out of it and I'll use it. This is shop waste and just burn it. So my plan is now to bring this bucket of offcuts, wood, into the house and this, and I'm going to light my stove in the house. Okay, here we go. So today we're in my house. This is my stove, you know, my regular burner if you like. It's not one I made. It's a Stanley Aran enamel stove, and I don't mess around with it. I don't burn waste oil in it. However, I did give it a trial run during the summer, and I did have this running on waste oil, but that was just a test. It was prototyping. It was just proof of concept. Anyway, look, today I've got this in this Tetra Pak. It's just a carton, you know, and I've squashed in waste oil and sawdust mixed. Now, you can see in the video how I did that, but that's it. Look, it doesn't want to pour out. It wants to stay together. It's not dripping waste oil, and I'm going to burn that as if you would burn a log. Now, I've got some timber, you know, some wood offcuts in the stove as it is. I've got some newspapers and stuff under it. This is just a fire starter, and literally I'm just going to, you know, get it going now. And okay, so I'm just going to place that there. Now, so while that's going, I've been asked a few times about the roar. You know, I keep going on about this roar or whatever. This stove does it as well. If you've got enough suction on your chimney, when all the air has to go through, you know, say in this case, you won't hear it with the top door. But if I close this door and open a smaller door, now listen for it. You hear it? I know I keep saying it. It's the same principle. You're getting a lot of volume compressed, you know. And there's my stove on the go now. That's just a standard domestic stove. The ones I build do the very same. And it's because it's hooked up to a big flue. You know, as the hot air rises up the flue, it does that. It causes it to burn aggressively. And that's all it is. So if your flue is airtight, you know, and the only way of air getting in is through, say, the likes of this, a door at the bottom, boom, that's it. It'll do this. Now, my burner designs require that you've got this sort of pressure, if you like, of air going through them, because what happens is it uses that, it forces that air to mix the gases, which pull and ignites, and then more stuff comes in, and it does this. So okay, when this settles down a bit, when it's not in the, you know, the mad burning phase, when we get some red embers in there, I'm going to put this in, and I'll show you that burning. So this is a boiler stove. It's surrounded by a water jacket. As the water inside the jacket gets hot, I have a thermostatically controlled pump, and it pumps the water away and down through you know, a central distribution area. I've got underfloor heating here, so this floor actually gets hot, as does all the downstairs floors in my house. Some of the floors upstairs get hot, and then the rest of the system is radiators, domestic radiators, wall mounted, and they radiate heat into the house. And this little guy here can do all of that, 21 kilowatts. So this is my waste oil log. You know, you can see what's in it. It's just waste oil and sawdust, right? I'm just going to put it in. There won't be any explosions or anything like that. It'll just burn normally. And I'll close it up now, and I'll show you, you know, the burn once we get it established. So we control the air into this stove. If something was going to run, you know, uncontrolled, we just choke off the air. That's the end of it. So if I open this, let it burn a bit. What happens it as well is it tends to burn from the outside, so the cardboard will burn off it, and the log will burn from the outside in, getting smaller. It won't all burn in one go. So it burns a bit like a candle. You know, if all of the candle was igniting, it's a bit like that. Now that'll burn clean. That'll burn down to nothing. And you know, it's generating heat, which is great, and it's generating heat out of waste, you know, because it was just waste vegetable oil and waste sawdust. And there you go, we're getting a ton of heat out of it. Now I can make it really go if I open this bottom door. Here we go, here's this roar I talk about. You know, and you can see it too. You know, the flames begin to get more aggressive because they're getting plenty of oxygen. And the air is being pulled up through the embers, you know, which just brightens them, and they just burn better then. Now, because we control the air, we'll just close that up, give it air from the top, so it's getting its air down there, and it'll just burn like a normal log. Okay, so I'll show you that in a few minutes. So these flames down this end are from the waste oil. Now I could break it up so you can see what's going on. Let's try that. Right, so there's the foil off it, and what looks like, there you go, so what looks like wet porridge now. wet oats. There you go. Okay, and it's getting all the air through the front, but we're going to control the air now and slow it down a bit. There you go. Burning really well. It'll last probably half hour to 3/4 of an hour, depending on the flow rate of air I send through it. But it's great use. It's a fire log, or I don't know what you'd call it, waste oil log. So if you've been here with me before and you subscribe, thanks very much. You're all great. If you haven't been here before, maybe you consider subscribing down here. We'll try and grow the channel even more. So I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now. Good luck.